Hi, I'm Nat Moes, the editor of Materials Evaluation. This month is a special Tech Focus issue on quantitative thermography. I talked with guest editor Steve Shepard about the topic to see what readers should know about this fascinating method. You've talked about the importance of looking at thermography as a collection of signals rather than images. Why is that?
Well, the infrared camera is a remarkable thing in many respects, but one of the most noteworthy things is that it puts out images. And as humans, we're very accustomed and well acclimated to looking at images. This is the way thermography was done for a long time, looking at images, thinking of pictures. The problem is that when you do that, you're leaving an awful lot of information on the table. So the thrust towards looking at signals is treating what comes out of the infrared camera rather than as a collection of pictures, treating it as a collection of signals. When we do that, it gives us the opportunity to relate what we see back to fundamental physics. And from that, we can extract hard information that just isn't there in a single picture. So there's a great payoff towards looking at signals. However, when that process is completed, you then can transform that information back to an image, and you have the benefit of being able to see things in that image format that we are used to, but with the physical information now brought to the forefront.
What do the papers tell us about thermography now and where it's going?
Well, interestingly enough, all three of these papers come from research groups that date back to the early days of modern thermography, and of course there are several generations of researchers since then, but it's interesting to watch the progression of investigators there. But all three of these groups go back quite far. But if you would have looked at a comparable issue from, say, 10 or 15 years ago or 20 years ago, the papers we see today are much broader in terms of understanding that what material we're looking at or what structures we look at are far less important than relating what we see to the much more general behavior of thermal energy in a solid. So 20 years ago, we looked at things, each study was a case unto itself, and I think in all of these papers you can see things being related to the very general behavior. So if we learn something about behavior in a composite, detection of features in a composite, it's not difficult to see how that affects looking for any other type of feature in any other type of material. So people are now much more keyed into thermography as a general investigation technique and not an anecdotal type of investigation.
It seems that thermography is becoming more and more popular as a method. What do you attribute that to?
Well, the techniques always had a lot of appeal. Right from the very early days of the infrared camera, everybody was drawn to the idea of being able to get pictures out quickly, comparing that to so many techniques that were basically single points. They had to be single point measurements. They had to be scanned. The problem was that it just wasn't quite accurate or sensitive enough to pass muster compared to other techniques, or the interpretation was a little too subjective. The thing is, we have turned the corner in a lot of ways in terms of being able to make it less subjective, in terms of being able to make it more sensitive, and the capability now matches the potential. At least it comes a lot closer than it ever did before. So I think the popularity is just thermography growing into what everybody realized from the start it could have been.
Check the January issue of Materials Evaluation for more information on quantitative thermography. Thanks for listening, and keep making the world a safer place.